I am convinced that the single most important thing you can do to establish your wellness foundations is to protect your gut. At best, it can mean a significantly better quality of life. At the very least, it can literally be the difference between life and death for you. If you'd asked me about the importance of gut health 5 years ago, I would have told you, I can't be perfect. I can't avoid sugar. It's not realistic. I don't want to eat it if it doesn't taste good. I can't live in an organic bubble, avoiding exposure to all poisons. And honestly, something's going to kill me. In fact, sometimes it feels like everything's going to kill me. So there's just too much to learn. I don't have time. I'm overwhelmed. And if it hasn't killed me by now, I'm sure I'll be fine. Here's the question I have for you. Are you really fine? I want you to define what fine is. Is it waking up every day with stiff and sore muscles and an aching back? Is it chronic pain? Is it daily or weekly headaches? Is it weight that will not let go of you no matter how many diets you do? Do you sleep completely through the night? Are you constipated? Do you have or battle anxiety or depression? What about anything with your brain like migraines, dyslexia, or ADHD? Is your gut distended? Do you have inflammation? Do you have food allergies or IBS? Do you have skin issues like acne, eczema, or psoriasis? What about candida overgrowths? How well do you handle stress? How are your hormones? Libido? What about your energy levels? Every single one of those ailments can be linked to your gut health. Over the past few weeks, we've explored hydration, sunlight, rest, and movement. And this week, we're going to add gut health to your wellness foundations. Welcome back to The Weekend Well, the place where you come each week to intentionally set your personal wellness goals for the coming week. Much of what I'm sharing with you today about gut health was compiled by Sarah Harnish, but it was borne out completely true in my lived life. And this message is both timely and urgent for you and yours. The number one way you have a healthy gut is honestly to eat the right foods. Quality food is our first and best God-designed medicine. Your cells are literally made up of what you put in your mouth. We don't want to believe it. We roll our eyes and laugh it off as if it's something trite, but really and truly, we literally are what we eat. If you ate sugary cereal this morning, it's already impacted your gut biome and has invaded every single cell in your body. 90% of sickness and disease starts in the gut. So if you begin your work there, you have a 9 out of 10 shot that you're starting in the right place. It's not fixed by cutting just one food. It's not fixed by a diet you do for a few months. It takes a whole lot of work for you to do the damage that's already been done to your body. Years and 10,000s of choices. It's going to be a process to reverse it. But the good news is that God designed your body to heal itself. If we stop damaging our body, it will start to make repairs on its own simply by cutting some foods out, adding some foods in, supplementing, which we'll talk about next week, and doing things so that you're absorbing the right stuff, so your body is able to absorb the right stuff. You can have a better life over the next 10 years than you had the last 10 years, but you must choose it for yourself. It will mean commitment and discipline. And sometimes before we're ready for all that commitment and discipline, we really just need to become aware of what the true issues are and be able to work past the I can't do this and why bother. So while these are hard things to hear, give yourself some grace and begin by just listening and thinking about these things. Pray and ask the Lord to be your guide for you. He knows you best and will lead you and guide you with his faithful watch care as he works with you in this process. So if you're ready, let's run together and see what God intended you to be. Your body is a temple for the Holy Spirit. He has entrusted you with stewardship to protect it. Even more importantly, you cannot do what you are called and created to do when your health is suppressed, which is absolutely what the enemy of your soul most desires. And this is why health is so terribly important. It has the ability to mute your purpose. With the typical foods that are served and offered, especially here in the United States, packaged and processed, many full of calories, but often with little to no nutritional value, which we call empty calories. I mean, we know that the nutrition you get from 100 calories of Skittles is totally different than the nutrition that you get from 100 calories of almonds. Our digestive system, unfortunately, continues to take a back seat to our busy lives. When the digestive system continues to go unsupported, you can expect to see things like fatigue, skin irritations, headaches, reflux, ulcers, constipation, bacterial overgrowth, and even things like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, and colon cancer. Your body is practically begging you to do something different. The pot is boiling over. Will you just put a lid on it, like conventional medicine often does, just to shut up the symptoms? Or will you actually find the source of the heat and turn it off, getting to the root cause of the problem, assessing how you can support your own recovery, and then slowly and intentionally moving in that direction? Do you know the weight of the bacteria that is currently living in your gut? Pick a number. Go on. I dare you. The answer is about 3 to 4.5 pounds of bacteria in your gut alone. They are highly organized microworld with a pecking order. Some species control others. They serve so many functions that if our gut was sterilized, we would likely not survive. We are symbiotic with our gut bacteria, like an oxpecker bird that eats the bugs off a rhinoceros, and they sound the alarm to let the rhinos know if there's humans or other predators close to save them from being poached. The human digestive tract is a long tube open to the world at its mouth and at its end. So if we eat and drink a plethora of toxins, why don't we die? It's because the whole tube is coated with a bacterial layer, providing a natural barrier against invaders. If the gut is damaged, you are a city without walls of protection. You are open to viruses, parasites, bad bacteria, toxic substances, dangerous chemicals, candida, and so much more. Not only does our gut flora protect us, but it also helps us absorb nutrients. Without it, you become malnourished. It sets up a chain of degenerate changes in the digestive wall, which further impact your ability to absorb the good things from your food. It brings nutrients to our cells, helps run our metabolism, makes vitamins, and is closely connected to the function of our immune system. This complex web of muscles and organs even sends messages to our brain and plays a major role in the endocrine system, which makes your hormones and your cardiovascular system. Have you heard that you actually have more than one brain? If you've ever gone with your gut to make a decision or felt butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous, you're likely getting signals from an unexpected source, your second brain, or what I like to call your God gut. Sometimes you just know in your knowing place whether something is beneficial or a load of, well, what is left at the end of our digestive tract. Johns Hopkins medicine tells us that hidden in the walls of the digestive system, this brain in your gut is revolutionizing their understanding of the links between digestion, mood, health, and even your ability to think. Scientists call this brain the enteric nervous system, or ENS, and it is comprised of two thin layers of more than 100 million nerve cells lining your gastrointestinal tract from esophagus to rectum. All of that is impacting how you think, react, and cope day to day. And this is why your digestive health, and specifically the food you are putting into your body, is so important. So what is currently damaging your gut? Here's what I'd like for you to do. Grab a pencil and a piece of paper, pause the video if you need to get those things. And I want you to think about, what have you already been avoiding in your life? Give yourself some credit for the things that you're already doing right. And then I want you to list some of the things that you didn't know or you're not doing yet, but that you could start to avoid. Write them down After you have the list, then you can focus on picking just one or two things to change immediately. Knowledge is power. Antibiotics kill your energy vitamins: B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, vitamin K, magnesium, and potassium. Antacids diminish calcium, folic acid, iron, and vitamins B and D. Antidepressants knock out CoQ10 and vitamin B2. Anti-inflammatory drugs like cortisone and prednisone deplete you of calcium, zinc, and vitamin C and D. Blood pressure lowering drugs steal your calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Cholesterol lowering drugs like CoQ10. Did you know that in other countries, if a statin is prescribed, they are also required by law to simultaneously give you a prescription of CoQ10? Hormone replacement therapies steal magnesium, vitamin B and C, and folic acid. Aminoglycosides like erythromycin. Antifungals like nystatin. The pill, or birth control. Stress. 75% of physician visits are for stress-related ailments. Old age. Can't stop that, but we will talk about it some more next week. Alcoholism, pollution, exposure to toxic substances, radiation, even blue light from computers or radiation from high cell phone use. X-rays from your teeth, MRIs, or at the airport. Extreme climate changes. Diet, specifically sugar, which feeds bad bacteria, but for many people also gluten and dairy. Ugh, just reading all of that gives me a stomach ache. Perhaps you've listened to this information so far and you're still thinking of all those things I said at the beginning. It's too hard. I'm fine. I don't know enough. The problem is that the cost of not learning is extremely high. Let me tell you the story of a professor. His name is Tim Spector. He's quite famous. He is a professor of genetic epidemiology at King's College in London. He made a deal with his son, Tom, that if he'd let him study his gut, he would buy him McDonald's for 10 straight days. He wanted to take a peek at his microbiome. Tom was quite elated about the idea. He loved McDonald's, and free McDonald's was even better. He was in college. Free is always better when you are in college, right? So for 10 days, Tom ate a Big Mac or chicken nuggets, fries, and a Coke. He ate nothing but McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He gave stool samples before, during, and after his fast food feast. After a week and a half, he'd become weak. His skin had taken on a gray color. He was craving salads and fruit. Teams from both Cornell University and the British Gut Project tested Tom's microbiome. His community of gut bacteria had been decimated. Tom lost 1,400 species, 40% of what was in his entire gut tract in a week and a half. It took him months to heal. Now, maybe fast food is not your Achilles heel. Maybe it's sugary coffee in the morning, or it may be that your grocery budget is a fraction of what you would like it to be, so you've been cutting corners for a long time just to save cash. Please hear me. You are cutting your family's health with that decision. The cost is not worth it. You are either investing in healthcare or you're paying for sick care, the model that our country unfortunately predominantly embraces. What you put in is so important. Ask yourself always, in this meal, what is nourishing my body and those in my family? Is it loaded with enriched pasta, breads, and rice? Does it contain processed, boxed sauces, synthetic ingredients, hydrogenated oils, and lab-created sugars? Are there any vegetables, any fermented foods, any nutrient-rich broth, proteins, good fats? What am I or we actually eating? Whew. And now let me share with you 10 ways to help your digestive system. Again, give yourself a pat on the back for the things that you're already doing, and then consider with the Lord what one thing you can begin to do this week. It's your weekend wellness challenge. Number 1, chew your food well. If you aren't chewing your food thoroughly, the rest of your digestive tract will have to work harder to get it broken down. Chewing can help reduce gas and indigestion as well. It even stimulates the parotid glands to release hormones that stimulate the thymus to produce T cells in your immune system. Number 2, reduce your stress. Chronic stress leads lengthens the amount of time that food stays in your stomach. We don't want that. It can also lead to issues like IBS, inflammation, ulcers. Do yourself a favor and remove some of the stressors in your life and start incorporating more stress-relieving activities like exercise, meditation. You might even consider my Great Day Protocol that I'll put a link to in the show notes. Reading, listening to music, and prayer. If you've been under an undue amount of stress for any length of time, I highly recommend the supplement Cortistop. It is a powerful mitigator. Number 3, drink sufficient water. Too little water on a daily basis can lead to constipation. Drinking adequate amounts of water, half your body weight in ounces per day, can help food to pass through the intestines more easily. Some find it more beneficial to drink their water apart from mealtime. Go check out the Hydration Wellness Foundation video after this one. Number 4, include a variety of plants in your diet. Help diversify your gut biome with things like leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, carrots, ginger, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, and more. Check out the Clean 15, eat the organic version of any of the Dirty Dozen foods, and eat the rainbow. While building your menu or filling your cart for the week, consider if every color from the rainbow is represented, because each other offers you a different profile of vitamins and minerals. Now, that Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen can be found on ewg.org. I'll also put a link in the show notes. Number 5, eat enough fiber. Foods rich in fiber can help things move along in the intestines. There are 2 main types of fiber, soluble and insoluble. Insoluble fiber helps water to attract to your stool, making it softer and easier to eliminate. Soluble fiber creates a gel in the system, which is said to prolong stomach emptying and allow for better nutrient absorption. Too much fiber can cause constipation and bloating, so increase your intake gradually and be sure to drink plenty of water. Number 6, get moving. Exercise is a great way to get the blood pumping, oxygen flowing to your organs. It gets the muscles in your GI tract flexing too. It even has a direct correlation to maintaining a healthy gut microbiome and immune system. Number 7, stop smoking and drink less alcohol. Smokers tend to get heartburn and peptic ulcers. They are also at an increased risk for Crohn's disease, gallstones, liver disease, and cancers associated with digestive organs. Alcohol can decrease the gut's ability to absorb nutrients, reduce digestive enzymes in the digestive tract, and can have an inflammatory effect on the intestine. Number 8, add in berries and organic green tea. Berries are rich in polyphenols, which promote good bacteria growth in your gut and limit harmful bacteria. Now, strawberries and blueberries are on the EWG's Dirty Dozen list this year, but raspberries are not. The high antioxidant content of berries can also alleviate inflammation in the body. Green tea also contains antioxidants, including polyphenols, and has been shown to have anti-inflammatory, detoxifying, and immune-stimulating effects. Number 9, try warm foods instead of cold. Cold foods can take a while to break down and digest. Warm foods allow for easier digestion and fluidity within the digestive tract. And number 10, well, I'm actually saving it for next week because I have so much to say about it and it won't fit in this episode. It's a biggie. Earlier I mentioned to you your God gut, and your God gut is directly impacted by the healthy spiritual food choices that you make. In John 8:38, then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Our body holds clues for what is necessary for us spiritually. Both physically and spiritually, we need quality food and nutrition. Not just a reel on Instagram, not just a podcast, or the latest read by your favorite Christian host or author. In Matthew 4:4, Jesus quotes Deuteronomy 8:3, saying, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. The Bible is what you need to be feasting upon to avoid spiritual malnourishment. This year I'm using the Bible Recap chronological reading plan, and I highly recommend it, and the daily video explanations that you can find right here on YouTube. I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. Do you need help knowing how to carve out your time each day for this? You can check out the Spiritual Steps link in the show notes. What are you already doing well, physically and or spiritually? What will you add this week? Please share in the comments. I'd love to hear. And if you'd be interested in a more intense gut health masterclass for believers, comment gut health, and I'll see you next weekend right here on The Weekend Well.